and welcome to a brand new episode of Top Shelf Audio, formerly known as PHT TV. Today we are going to be unboxing and telling you guys a little bit about the A10 Classic from Advanced Paris here. So if you guys have not checked out the Zoom meeting that we did with Rob Stanley of Playback Distribution, he's the American importer for the Advanced Paris line. If you guys haven't checked out that video, please do. It is going to give you a whole bunch of information on these. But since we already did that, since we already covered a lot of the info on Advanced Paris and these guys specifically in that video, you just want to crack it out of the box?
Sure. Everybody's down to see it.
Yeah, let's take it out of the box and we
will.
will.
At this point, there's 20 other unboxing videos, but we're going to do our own.
This one will be better than all the rest, guaranteed. Here's box number 2 with the pretty Advanced Paris tape on it. So we'll just do both boxes simultaneously here. So in the box, we have our remote, then the product manual Corey's got in his hand. We can lift up at the same time. And for the reveal, and there she is, the Advanced Paris A10. Let's plug it in so we can see those VU meters you're talking about. All right, so there it is out of the box. There it is fired up. We got our beautiful VU meters backlit up there, showing off on the front. It's pretty.
Yeah, it's definitely sexy.
So it's definitely pretty. Let's look at the functionality though. Let's take a look around back and we can take a look at what's going on around back here as far as like our inputs and everything go. From left to right, we're going to start with our power on off, which is just a simple on off switch. Then we have our speaker outputs. You've got an A and a B channel, 2 speaker outputs on both channels.
So on the speaker outputs, you can actually configure that, hit the volume button, hold it in for a few seconds, and then inside of the menu that pops up, you're able to configure what outputs that you are using, you know, whether it's A plus B or A and B or whatever. That's how you select that.
We do have our trigger outs here. Then coming down here, we have dual subwoofer out, and we do have a high bias on-off switch right here as well. As far as audio inputs, you have more than I could ever imagine using in a lifetime. But if you have a ton of peripherals that you want to connect to this guy, it is going to be definitely doable. Definitely doable. These are going to be your outs. These right here are going to be your inputs. So you do have your balanced inputs, 2 XLR inputs over on the end here. And then coming back up, what is the digital wireless module?
So you do have to keep in mind that if you do want Bluetooth with this, you're going to have to buy a separate module. So that's what this thing does. It's not very expensive at all, but most people are going to be streaming with something this nice. Hardly anybody is going to get a nice audiophile grade integrated amp and then Bluetooth to it. So they just kept that separate instead of wasting money on something that most people are not going to use. So you just take that module and you plug it in and Bluetooth works just fine.
Then we have 3 optical inputs here. You have 2 USBs. One of them is going to be a service port. Then you have a USB-A here connected into a computer. You have HDMI audio in, and you have HDMI ARC, which is something you don't see on a lot of the tube amplifiers or the audiophile stuff. You don't see ARC very much.
We use it all the time at the shop, though. We basically stream concerts from YouTube, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, so having that additional capability, I don't know of an input that this thing is missing. It's pretty much got everything there. So that's what she looks like around back. We've got our ton of inputs. We've got pretty much anything you could ask for around back as far as connection wise. Now, everybody's done a review on these guys, so we're not really concerned about cutting that review, at least a long review. So give us your 10-second spout out. What is your 10-second review or 30-second review on what you think of this guy?
10 seconds, oh goodness. All right, well, first of all, it's gorgeous. VU meters is 90% of what everybody's interested in. I would say it's super clean. I mean, you've basically just got one knob. It's just really clean look. It goes with almost anything. I would say sound-wise, you know, the amplifier has so many bells and whistles, you can never use them all. You're not going to use everything that it can do. Between the speaker selectors and all the inputs, and you got balanced inputs as well, and you got 42 kind of USB and HDMI. You're never going to use it all. This can do more than you could possibly want, but also the, you know, just the tubes, you know, if you've got speakers or any components that, you know, are grainy, a little bright, you know, these are going to mask that and smooth things out. You know, of course, there is separates that do not have the tube stage, but if you're looking at this unit, I would say, you know, you've got something that you might want to smooth out a little bit, and this does an exceptional job with that.
Sure. So, like I said, we've got tons of reviews. That's our quick and to the point review. What we want to do is we want to separate this video by making it a little bit different, and we're going to do a walkthrough on how to use the menu and how to set it up for your system. So let's take a look at that.
Okay, so we are going to assume that you already have your A10 plugged in and that the switch is on the back. The first thing we're going to do is power on. You'll see that the LED surrounding the power button is illuminated in red when off, then turns white when you power on. While I would typically gloss over this part a bit because it's kind of obvious, I did want to notate and show you the warm-up period here because that does get confusing at times. It's something some of you may not have seen before. So you'll see the countdown start on the side, and we are going to allow a bit of time to pass each time you power on before using the product. Now, one of the reasons people are super interested and intrigued by this amp is the cleanliness and simplicity of the design. Basically, you have this knob here, which is called the multifunctions button, and between that and the readout display here, that's really how you alter any and all settings within the unit. Basically, you're going to have a combination of pushes and turns on here to navigate to anything you'd like to change. In the manual, you have kind of a navigation tree provided, and I'll show it to you here, but just to kind of get you some hands-on experience, I'm going to go through each of those menu settings here as well. First off, if you scroll as is, it's just your basic volume knob. You can turn your volume up or down based on whether you're turning it left or right. If you want to access your settings menu, go ahead and press it inwards and hold. Press one more time to access each submenu. As for inputs, in analog we have phono, CD, auxes 1 through 4, and XLR. If we get back into our menu and go to digital inputs, we'll find our coax and optical inputs 1 through 3. Next we have our Bluetooth option, but please note an additional Bluetooth module will need to be purchased and used to gain this functionality. After Bluetooth we have USB audio and USB, which these can be used to connect a computer or add an external drive respectively. After that we'll find our HDMI ARC and HDMI audio options, and finally we have our system settings. First off, in speaker info you have your device info and information about the firmware. Check out the Advanced Paris website and compare these versions to what's live on their site to confirm you have the latest firmware version. Next we have our speaker menu, which will allow you to select a speaker A or B or A plus B. Next we have our tone settings menu, which will give you the ability to do some basic equalization. You have your bypass, which can be turned on and off, your bass, which you can crank up or crank down, your treble, which can be turned up and down as well, and then balance and loudness. Following that, we have our start volume setting, which you can turn on or off, and if you turn it on, you can adjust what volume the system is set to when you power up. Our APD or auto power down settings can be turned off or turned to a specific time frame to power down when not in use. Next we have our STB LED mode, which can be turned on and off, our CEC control, which can be turned on and off, our TV audio, which can be turned on and off, and our amp in, which can also be turned on and off. Next we have our factory reset option, and finally our upgrade setting, which can be performed over MCU or USB.
Alright, so that is how to set up your system. So hopefully this is super helpful for you guys, because we've seen a lot of reviews, but not a lot of how to get this thing going with the singular knob and everything. So.
Well, not a lot of people have seen the inside. You want to tear it apart and see what the guts look like?
That is something we do a lot on this channel, is we take stuff apart.
People like it.
All right,
let's try that.
We're going to take the cover off and we'll see what it looks like on the inside. We don't recommend doing this at home. I do believe it will void your warranty. Does this void the warranty to take it off?
Taking the cover off itself, no. Trying to swap out the tubes, supposedly yes.
So you were saying you did have some questions about that, about the swapping out the tubes. What's that?
Yeah, hopefully we're about to see some details, but I have a lot of people ask, hey, can I use such and such type of tubes and, swap them out. Advanced Paris really doesn't want you doing that. It supposedly voids the warranty. I don't even know if a normal person can even get to it very easily. We're about to find out here in about 5 seconds, hopefully.
I'm gonna get you guys a close-up camera angle though, so let me set these screws somewhere where...
But yeah, it supposedly is possible, but you literally have to send the thing to an authorized service center, and you know, they're authorized to tear the thing apart, swap out your tubes, and you're good to go. But you're not supposed to do it on your own.
All right, I'm gonna get another camera angle up top over here, and we're gonna make this a reveal. Aww. All right, let's see what it looks like on the inside. If I took all the screws out, I think I did. What do you think, Corey?
I think those heat sinks are a very interesting design. I mean, it's not just heat sink, but it's saw blade heat sink. I can't say I've ever seen that anywhere else, but that's got to improve the surface area of the metal. I will say these get surprisingly warm, and I've always assumed that that was the tubes, but after seeing these crazy heat sinks, yeah, I'm starting to guess that. Maybe that's incorrect.
Yeah, because the heat sinks don't appear to be anywhere near the tubes. This is something that I do believe you're only going to see here on Top Shelf Audio. Taking a brand new amp and showing you the internals.
So I will say you should be able to see the housing that those tubes are in, and I will have to agree with the manufacturer. That does not look like something that your average homeowner needs to be doing. Best I don't know.
I don't even know how you'd get to that, because it looks like this board is attached to that board.
It would almost look tempting to just pop that top thing off, but I don't think that's the whole story. To me, it looks like I think this entire board's gonna have to come off.
Yeah, because from looking from the back, you may not know this, but the tubes are in this little portion right here. You got the two tubes sitting on the front here. So yeah, it almost looks like this guy is mounted to that board. And
yeah, if you do have to take that board off, I mean, just eyeballing it, you've got several of those plugins, which are often fairly fragile. I've broken my fair share of them. So if you've never seen this before and you try to take that off, I mean, there's a real good chance that you're going to get impatient and tear that up. So, I mean, if you don't care about your warranty, by all means, you know, take the top off and tear all this stuff off and replace the tubes. Just don't come crying to me whenever you break it.
yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot more going on in here than I expected. I've taken apart some amps before, and there's just layers upon layers of happenings happening in here. Well, like you were mentioning the seat,
the red PCB. I mean, that's pink. I've never seen a pink PCB board. Maybe I slept that day during electrical engineering school. But
just one. The rest of them are red.
Yeah.
Wonder what makes that one special.
I don't know, but I wish I was smart and I could talk about this more. But
no, all we can do is show it to you.
One thing that stands out is just how tiny all these connectors are. That's insane. Look how tight this whole area. Look how small that solder joint is. I mean, I guess that's just modern computers for you, but that's you're not going to see that on old school amps.
No, and you're not going to be able to take apart a lot of this. Let me see. What else can we see if we get in pretty tight here?
I will say it is kind of cool to get something this modern, but still have the touch of old school. I mean, not just the tubes, but you still got the toroidal transformer, and you know, kind of inherently filters out noise. A lot of people think that you know, it helps with dynamics and all that good stuff, but they're not cheap. You know, that is a lot of metal. So to get something at this price point with both the tubes and that transformer, that's pretty incredible. But I still can't get over these heat sinks, though. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, the transformer is a monster. I'll show you the heat sinks here too. That's just one. So there's the dual heat sinks on either side here. And like Corey was saying, we were thinking that was the monster heat sinks were to cool down the tubes, but the tubes are kind of in their own separate container here. And then in addition to those massive heat sinks, we also have some heat sinks on the board here as well. So we've got the heat sink right here, 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 and there's more down there as well.
I don't know exactly what temperature it runs. I will say that this is probably one of the hottest pieces of equipment that I've owned.
Let's light her up.
I'm kind of scared.
As long as you don't touch it.
If sparks start flying, it's your fault.
I've been blamed for worse.
This may be a waste of time, but something cool might happen. Well, see, you can see through the PCB board.
Panels on the front. You got the light up panel on there for this strip light on the front.
I didn't know exactly how that worked. It appears to just be a white LED and it's shining through. That's not really...
It's white LED on a... Well, you can kind of... If you look up top here.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm guessing this is the lights on here are different than the lights up here because...
I'm sure somebody out there knew all this and we look like big goobers. Like...
Well, I think the white lights are just your power button over here and your panel over here. The blue's separate, like LEDs on the board itself.
I don't know. It's a divine mystery, and I don't want to tear it apart any further.
All right, you said you want to tear it apart further?
Absolutely not. It's scaring me already.
All right, so we try and make everything pretty unique here on Top Shelf Audio, formerly known as PHT-TV. I keep wanting to say PHT-TV.
That's okay. I will too for a while.
We try to make things pretty unique here and do things that other people haven't done. So with our menu operation and teaching you guys how to do that, our taking off the top, how many of you guys, leave a comment below, have you seen the insides of this unit before? Probably not. But anyways, that's going to be about all we have for you guys here on the Advanced Paris A10 integrated.
Don't forget to give us a shot when you're ordering this stuff. There's tons of people out there that are just drop shipping them, and which may or may not be in stock at the distributor. We're ordering these things by the pallet load. At any given time, there's usually about 10 on hand. So
This could be to your doorstep in a matter of days, though.
Yeah, I mean, we ship out of Paducah, Kentucky, so you know, we got quick shipping from one coast to the other, and yeah, just holler at us and give us a call, or just better yet, just order straight off the website, topshelfaudio.com.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching. This is the A10 integrated, and we'll see you next time for another episode of Top Shelf Audio.
Thanks, guys.